ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, HMR viewers. Welcome back to the 2025 Christmas-themed mini-series for Home Media Reviews. And this episode is a special one because it's HMR's first filler episode. I thought it would be weird if we covered the first Iron Man a few years ago. We're going to talk about Iron Man 3 next week. Iron Man 2 just being left out, and the cold all by his lonesome. It just didn't sit right with me. So with a wink and a prayer, Iron Man 2 has snuck its way into this mini-series. It actually kind of coincides with my Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch that I'm doing right now. It's a little early to be building up to Doomsday, and I'm certain I'll be finished with my rewatch earlier than I expect, but I'm super hyped up for that movie. And you guys know I love Marvel. If I had a gun to my head and someone said, you have to watch a Marvel movie, I'd be like, okay, do you have any popcorn? Unless it was Eternals, in which case I would say, please pull the trigger now. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the history of Iron Man 2. So Iron Man 2 hit theaters on May 7th, 2010. Marvel's only movie that came out in theaters in 2010 after the 1-2 punch of Iron Man and Incredible Hulk in 2008. They took a year off in 2009 and played it pretty safe in 2010. You could also argue it's because the Incredible Hulk kind of underperformed at the box office is why they took that year off in 2009. On a budget of $170 to $200 million, Iron Man 2 made $623.9 million, a huge profit for Marvel. I didn't see Iron Man 2 in theaters. I was a few months away from turning 11 in May of 2010, and I just didn't really have any interest in that kind of movie. I was still interested in my Spider-Man 3 action figures that I got back when that movie came out. Didn't see that in theaters either, but I had the toys. I first saw Iron Man 2 about a decade ago on TV. Just like the first Iron Man, I taped this on my DVR. I then picked up the DVD release, probably from like Half Price Books or something, a couple of years later, and eventually upgraded the film to Blu-ray. Speaking of those releases, why don't we talk about them? September 28, 2010 was when Iron Man 2 hit DVD and Blu-ray. There's quite a few different versions of Iron Man 2 that you could have picked up back in 2010, so we're going to talk about all of them here. There were two versions of the DVD. There was your standard bare-bones single disc variant that included just the movie and a couple of bonus features. And you had a 2-disc DVD that not only included a few more bonus features, but also a digital copy. That old school digital copy where you put your disc into your computer and you connect it to a server, you input your digital code, and that will allow you to download a copy of Iron Man 2 off of that server. Those servers, of course, are long dead, so those digital copies are no longer functional. I had the single disc variant. It was probably like $3 or $4 back then, and I wasn't going to pony up, $7 or $8 for the 2-disc variant. Oh, no. I was totally fine with just having the single disc. There were also 2 versions of the Blu-ray. There was a single disc bare bones Blu-ray. Of course, I say bare bones, but the Blu-ray disc does have more special features than the DVD did. It also shares the same poster art as the DVD, funny enough, and there was also a 3-disc Blu-ray set with an entire disc filled with bonus content and a 3rd disc for a digital copy. Spoiler alert for the close-up, but this is the version of Iron Man 2 that we'll be talking about. Even back in 2010, before Marvel was owned by the House of Mouse, there were multiple exclusive variants of Iron Man 2. There was a Target exclusive Blu-ray that came pre-gift wrapped. What I can tell from this picture, There's like a slipcover that's on top of the movie. You take the slipcover off, you unwrap the film, and there's Iron Man 2 underneath the Christmas wrapping paper. Which that doesn't make a lot of sense for it to have Christmas wrapping paper. I can't really tell what the wrapping paper is, to be honest, from this picture. It came out in September. I guess they're assuming that, like, a kid's birthday is right around the corner or something. The slipcover art's better than the single disc variants art, because that's the version you get with this pre-gift wrapped. There was a second Target exclusive, not a steelbook, a metal pack with worse artwork than the single disc Blu-ray release. It's literally just Iron Man with his hand up. I mean, it's okay. I love my steelbooks, so you wouldn't catch me buying this at any point in time. There was also a Walmart exclusive. Kind of. The Walmart exclusive was the 3-disc Blu-ray set with a sticker on the front of it linking to a special website, walmart.com/im2. Apparently, if you went to this website, you got a special look at the Mark V armor. That's the armor that's in the suitcase. I'm guessing there's some kind of code inside of the case that lets you look at that bonus content, because if there's not, anyone could have just went to walmart.com/im2 and saw that special look of the Mark V armor. There's nothing exclusive about this release. But moving along to April 2nd, 2013, Iron Man 2 was included in the beautiful Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 box set. Now, we've looked at this on HMR. I found it at Half Price Books for $20 on deep clearance. It's one of the best things I've ever found at a used physical media store. It comes in a Shield briefcase. You get all kinds of physical goodies like papers and the plans for Iron Man's first armor, ID cards, a whole bunch of stuff, including a replica of the Tesseract that lights up. Later on in 2013, the single disc DVD and the 3-disc Blu-ray set were reprinted on September 24th, 2013. What else came out on September 24, 2013? Iron Man 3's physical media release. Coincidence? I think not. 2 years later, on March 31st, 2015, we got an Iron Man 3 movie collection Blu-ray set. This is one of the only pictures I could find. As far as I could tell, there's no special slipcover or packaging for this. It was just the 3 standard Blu-rays shrink-wrapped together, and there's a little sticker there on the front saying Iron Man 3 movie collection. 2 years after that, on September 17th, 2017, the Blu-ray got reprinted with a modern digital copy thrown in there, as well as that really bland, simplistic artwork. I'm not a fan of this. I never have been. Just give me the poster art, guys. Come on. Hell, I'll even take the artwork that's on the soundtrack of Iron Man and War Machine. Like, why do we have to make everything so simplistic now? At least they chose the best-looking armor in the entire movie to put on the front cover. 2 years after that, on August 13th, 2019, Iron Man 2 hit 4K for the first time, reusing that simplistic artwork. But don't worry, if you hate that artwork, you could have picked up the Best Buy exclusive steelbook that actually has the poster art on it. Or rather, the artwork from the single disc variant. This might have been one of the posters. I just remember the poster of Iron Man and War Machine. So these next 2 sets we've talked about previously. November 15th, 2019 brings us the Infinity Saga box set. It was a Best Buy exclusive, and it included every Marvel film from Iron Man to Spider-Man Far From Home. All in 4K and in a really cool package. One day, Infinity Saga box set, I'm going to walk into Half Price Books, and you're going to be on that shelf for $10. One day you'll be mine. And then 2 years later, on July 13th, 2021, the Iron Man 3 movie collection Blu-ray set was reissued with new artwork. All of the films were actually put in one single case. They changed the artwork as well. It's Tony Stark looking all dramatic in front of the Hall of Armor. And each movie even has a digital code now. The drawback being, this is only Blu-ray. That wraps things up here for the history section. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alright everyone, here's your close-up look at Iron Man 2. I did have the single disc DVD variant of this years ago. I sold that after I picked up this Blu-ray copy off of eBay, and this is the 3-disc Blu-ray edition. So up there at the top, there's the Blu-ray disc logo, another Blu-ray disc logo. There's Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital copy. The Mark V armor there on the front with the film's logo off to the side. It's an okay poster. Not the best one for the movie, but at least they chose the best armor that's featured in it. The spine, got the Paramount logo there. Portrait of Iron Man taken from the front. Iron Man 2. Blu-ray disc logo, Marvel logo, 3-disc set, and a product number. The back features a breakdown of every piece of content that you get. That's provided on all 3 of these discs. There's a barcode there, as well as a little blurb about the film. Some screenshots that make up kind of like a quasi-arc reactor shape, and then there's the Mark VI in the middle of it there. Cast and crew information, technical specifications, legalese, and all that fun jargon down there at the bottom. On the inside, your Blu-rays are just the standard Paramount gray. Your first Blu-ray is the film itself. I don't know why it says special features on it as well. There's not a lot of bonus content on the actual film disc. And your other disc is literally just bonus content. This is filled with a whole bunch of bonus content. It's a lot of fun. And then your third disc is a DVD copy of the movie as well as a digital copy, which you could have accessed if we had the code here that came on a little piece of paper, and if the servers were still online. So that's it for the close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alright everyone, here's your menu tour for Iron Man 2. We're going to go from best format to worst here. So we're starting off with the film Blu-ray. You've got like a 3D animatic of the Stark Expo that shows up behind all these various clips from the movie. You have play in the upper left corner, settings in the upper right, you have extras below that in the lower right, and scenes in the lower left. Since we're already on scenes, let's take a look at them. Looks like we have 17 scenes. You don't get a lot of extras on the Blu-ray film disc. You do get a commentary with Jon Favreau, the Shield, the data vault, and pre-visualization and animatics. So the Shield vault, that's interesting. That is a whole like different experience while you watch Iron Man 2. It's not a different cut. It just has a bunch of like behind the scenes information that was pulled from the Shield vault that pops up on screen while you watch the film. Here we are in the settings tab for audio. We have a 5.1 master audio mix, a French 5.1, Spanish 5.1, Portuguese 5.1 mix. We have English audio description, and you can also select the commentary by Jon Favreau from here. And for subtitles, we have English, English SDH, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. And now here is Blu-ray number 2 in Iron Man 2. It's the special features Blu-ray. We have a completely redesigned menu here from the film Blu-ray. We have all of our options over here in the lower left-hand corner, clips from the movie playing above it, and blueprints lining the unused space behind the film clips. Okay, so your bonus content is as follows. We have Ultimate Iron Man, the making of Iron Man 2, a whole separate menu for just featurettes, a whole separate menu for deleted scenes, concept art, galleries, theatrical trailers, other Marvel trailers, and a music video for Shoot Thrill by AC/DC. You also have a settings tab down there at the bottom. It's just for subtitles, English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. I'm interested in what the other Marvel trailers are on this disc. Ah, okay, so we've got an Iron Man 2 video game trailer, the prologue for Iron Man 2, the video game, and then Avengers animated trailer. Now that could be a number of things. It could be Ultimate Avengers, the two animated movies produced by Lionsgate. It could be Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes that was airing around the time that Iron Man 2 came out. I'm curious. Let's watch this together. Hey, check it out. I was right. It's Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Great show if you've never seen it. Let's scroll up and look at featurettes. We have Creating the Stark Expo, Practical Meets Digital. I have a couple of illustrated origins for Nick Fury, Black Widow, and War Machine. And we have Working with DJ AM. I'm guessing that's the DJ in the birthday party scene. And here are your deleted scenes with optional commentary by Jon Favreau. We have the alternate opening of Coulson at the Senate, the suborbital jet, an extended scene with Tony's workshop, Natalie wears the gauntlet, Flying Party Girl, Mark II security, and an extended scene where the new element is created. And hey, why not? Here's some concept art galleries. We got Hammer Drones, Feebles, Russia, the Mark IV, sets, the Stark Expo, the Stark Mansion, Mark V, War Machine, the Whiplash exoskeleton, and the Mark II Whiplash armor. Alright, so moving on from a disc that was packed with bonus content to a disc that has virtually none, the DVD. This also has a different-ish menu. It's got the same stuff playing in the background as the film's Blu-ray. However, your options are now at the bottom instead of sprawled out in all the corners. We have play, setup, scene selection, and an option for your digital copy. And here's what it looks like after you select the digital copy portion. You have to insert this Blu-ray into a DVD-ROM or a Blu-ray disc ROM drive. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the scene selection is going to be exactly the same as the film's Blu-ray, and it looks like I am correct. Yep. Makes sense that they would reuse the chapter selections between formats. How about setup? Is there anything different there? Looks like it's just subtitles. English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. We don't even get an audio commentary on the DVD. You get literally nothing on this version of the DVD. So folks, that's going to wrap things up here for your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Well, dear viewer, if you mosey on over to Amazon.com or any other of your favorite online retailers, you should be able to pick up a copy of Iron Man 2 fairly cheap. I got my Blu-ray copy on eBay years ago, and it couldn't have been more than $11-12. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? No, it's not, unfortunately. You would think we would have gotten a 4K reissue at this point, but alas, it's not to be. Number 3, should you pick this product up? So we begin Iron Man 2 with a Paramount logo. So weird seeing that logo before a Marvel movie, isn't it? I do like how we get the audio from the final scene and the first Iron Man playing over the opening logos. Serves both a story reason and as a catch-up for the audience. We then cut to a build montage with Mickey Rourke playing Ivan Vanko after his father just passed away. That montage, pretty sweet. Rourke does not look like the kind of guy who would know anything about this kind of tech. I do like, though, how it shows visually that Tony does have a rival out there. AC/DC music when Iron Man lands at the Stark Expo. How could I not be energized by this? Shoot to Thrill is a perfect choice for this opening scene. Love that gantry that takes the armor off. There's always fun tech moments in these movies that make me very happy. Howard Stark's video has a very Walt Disney introducing Epcot vibe. Possible foreshadowing that Marvel would one day be owned by Disney. I feel that choice was intentional though. And I do love all the parallels to Epcot Center, me being kind of a fan of the Disney World theme parks. During I like to call it the grilling scene in the Senate, I am 100% with Tony. Do not hand over that suit to any kind of government agency. The minute something cool happens in the private sector, here comes the government to swoop in and take it for themselves. In this scene, we also get introduced to Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell. He is rivaling Robert Downey Jr.'s performance here. I love him in this movie. Our new actor playing Rhodey gets introduced in the Senate Arms Committee scene. There's a lot of important information that happens in this scene, isn't there? Don Cheadle. Very smart way to introduce him as well. It's me. I'm here. Just deal with it. Terrence Howard, man, you really missed out on a great opportunity, but I understand why he didn't come back. Can't believe I haven't mentioned him yet either, but Robert Downey Jr. is effortless in his performance of Tony Stark. This character is just an extension of himself, and it's a joy to watch it on screen. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, is introduced after Stark promotes Pepper to CEO, and despite the valid criticism of her making this movie feel overstuffed, having her introduction be in this movie makes the Marvel universe feel more vast, in my opinion. Could it have been written better? Absolutely, but it's nice to see her humble beginnings here before leaping to her death over a decade later. So we have the Black Widow storyline. We also have Tony dying from the arc reactor. Apparently the element that powers the magnet inside of his chest is also slowly poisoning him, which serves as the reason as to why he's been acting so irrational as of late, and why we have a diet Damon and a bottle storyline interlaced throughout the film. It's never quite called out that Tony has a drinking problem here. It's way more subtle. Man, the fight scene in Monaco, though, the best scene in the entire movie. It's where the movie peaks. That Mark V armor that's hidden inside of that suitcase, the way that it just engulfs Tony's body. Ivan Vanko's huge electric whips. Everything about it is just awesome. It's so satisfying to watch the Mark V armor just lay itself on top of Tony with all the technical whirs and the clicking and all that. It just, it satisfies an itch in my brain I didn't know I had. After the Monaco fight scene, there's actually a really good scene between Rhodey and Stark, which also follows up a really good scene with Rourke and Stark when Rourke says, "If you could make God bleed, then there will be blood in the water, and the sharks will come. Palladium in the chest. It's a painful way to die." But I want to talk about the Rhodey and Stark scene, because everyone talks about the Ivan Vanko and Stark scene in the prison. We get a really good look at the prototype Hall of Armor, and seeing that Rhodey actually cares about Tony. That's something the first movie was kind of muddy on. Like, yeah, Rhodey and Stark, they knew each other, they were business partners, but are they best friends? Like, are they even really friends here? Iron Man 2 says, no. Rhodey and Stark, they really are best friends. I believe him when he says that the government is planning on rolling up in tanks and taking Stark's armor without so much as a how do you do? Because, that's how the government does things. I'm willing to bet also that if they did do that, Tony would have gotten real sad real quick. They would have had the coroner show up and been like, he had 3 gunshots in the back of his head. Worst case of suicide we've ever seen. Second best scene in the entire movie is the fight between Iron Man and Prototype War Machine. We even get some nice setup for their little palm blast explosion thing. That'll come in handy later. After seeing how much Rhodey actually cares about Stark and then seeing him take a piss in his own suit, stumble around drunk, it's a low point for both of those characters. Could it have been built up more? Yeah, most of the movie could have benefited from maybe 1 or 2 more rewrites, but for what we get, it's good enough. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut. Nick Fury enters the movie almost like a father figure reprimanding a child. His performance, though, is pretty great. He's kind of just here for exposition, but he delivers it to the best of his ability. Hammer's weapons speech is fantastic, especially when you learn the behind the scenes story about it. Rockwell had to wear an earpiece with someone feeding him all that gun information because he couldn't remember all of it. It's a lot of information. I don't blame him for not memorizing it. I like guns as much as the next guy, but I don't remember all of the various models and calipers of ammunition, all the technical side of stuff of guns. I'm more of a computer guy. You want to know the difference between a Dell Latitude 5400 and a Precision 3580? I'll tell you. And here comes my biggest issue with the film. Howard Stark speaks from beyond the grave and talks to Tony about stuff he has no clue about. This, in my opinion, diminishes Tony's genius by having his dad lay out the entire plan right in front of him, rather than Tony actually using that big brain of his and figuring it out for himself. It's stupid and should have been written out. Oh, Howard Stark hid the plans for a new element inside of his map of the Stark Expo. Yeah, that makes sense. This is a really random observation, but Bill O'Reilly appears in this movie on the TV in Pepper's office, and that took me back to my days as a younger kid. My parents were big fans of the O'Reilly Factor back in 2010, 2012 time period, and I still remember hearing, "We are entering the no spin zone," while walking through the living room. Kind of already touched on this point earlier, but Tony creating a new element. I'm not shocked that he did it because he's a genius. I hate that his dad is the one that sets him on that path. Howard Stark always seemed like a business genius, not really a technical genius like his son. That kind of characterization kind of goes away when we learn about how Howard was in his youth, back with Captain America, the First Avenger. But here, he just kind of seems like, oh, he made Stark Industries into a great business. He wasn't really a technical genius, as well as a savvy businessman like his son. Tony was kind of like the best of both worlds. Here's an interesting fact, though. When I saw Iron Man 2 on television for the first time, the scene where a prototype Captain America shield is used to lift up the coil wasn't included in the TV cut. I'm not really sure why. I'm guessing it might have been cut out so the movie could fit into a nice 2-hour time slot. Or I guess 2.5 hours when you add commercials. I'm not sure why it was cut out, but that scene has always stuck out to me because I didn't see it the first time I saw Iron Man 2. Hammer's presentation at the Stark Expo was oddly inspiring. The patriotic music and all that. Too bad his drones turn against him. Because, I don't know, working with a known criminal's a bad idea. Who knew? War Machine looks awesome. This is like a slam dunk. If they got Iron Man perfect in his first movie, they got War Machine right here. He looks like he stepped right off of the comic book page. Missed opportunity, though. They could have used AC/DC's War Machine when he enters the Stark Expo. Maybe they thought that was a little too on the nose. Screw it. If it was me making this movie, I would have put it in there. Climax is full of action. Has some great stuff with War Machine chasing Iron Man. The fight with the drones and that weird aviary thing. That palm rest explosion comes back and takes out Vanko. It's a fun wrap up to the movie. We get references to a lot of other stuff in the scene with Fury discussing the Avenger Initiative. Culver University, that's Incredible Hulk. I noticed too there's a small reference to Wakanda in one of those maps. Tony being removed from the Avengers initiative, though. This scene feels tacked on here because of the fact that Robert Downey Jr. hadn't signed on to be in Avengers yet when this movie came out. Hard to believe that there was a time when we weren't sure if Iron Man would ever appear outside of these two movies. Or rather, Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark. The Iron Man suit could appear, I suppose, but Tony Stark himself, we weren't sure if he was just going to live in Iron Man 1 and 2 or not. They pulled this same crap with Iron Man 3 and Avengers Age of Ultron and all that stuff. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., for his entire career playing Tony Stark, he was pretty wishy-washy during his first couple of years in the role. He was always like, I'm not sure if I'll come back or not, and he ends up signing on, of course. Highway to Hell plays us out as Gary Shandling pins medals on Rhodes and Stark. Shandling, though, great choice to play just an absolute slimy senator. He plays this role perfectly. And I'm not shocked he turns out to be a Hydra agent later on. Iron Man 2 is messy and needed at least one more rewrite prior to going forward. However, there's still a lot to enjoy here. It feels like a direct continuation from the first film. The performances are all great, the action is top-notch, and these effects look amazing. Really, the one thing that bugs me about it is how much is going on in it. You never really get the chance to care much about Tony dying, or Ivan's backstory, or even Rhodey's internal struggle. The stuff with Howard Stark is just dumb, I really don't like that. And the Avengers Initiative stuff, I understand you had to address Robert Downey Jr. not signing on for Avengers yet, but I feel like that could have been addressed somewhere else, more subtly, rather than just having an entire scene where, hey, the Avengers, they're coming, and you might not be there. Like, that whole scene just feels unnecessary. As a matter of fact, there should be a fan cut of Iron Man 2 where Howard Stark's scenes where he talks to Tony beyond the grave, cut them all, and cut the little scene with the Avengers. You'd have a much better movie. Not a bad sequel, but definitely a step down from the first one. Still perfectly recommendable, though. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? If you can find it in like a used DVD or Blu-ray store for cheap, definitely pick it up there. If not, you can run the risk of picking it up on like Amazon or somewhere like that. And number 5, what price should you pay? As far as I'm aware, prices for Iron Man 2 on Blu-ray have not changed much over the last couple of years. The single disc Blu-ray is still going to run you about $10. The 3-disc Blu-ray is still going to run you about $10 to $15. The 4K, depending on if it's the Steelbook or if it's the regular version and if it has a slipcover, the Steelbook has retained a lot of its value. It's still going for about $30 to $35. The standard 4K, though, is dropped down to about $20, and that's not including a slipcover. Which, hey, if you just want to watch Iron Man 2 in 4K and you want to watch it physically, do you need a slipcover? I would prefer to have one, but do you actually need it? Not really. I wouldn't go any higher than $20 for a standard 4K for this. And the Blu-ray prices? Perfect. I'd pay $15 for a 3-disc set. So folks, that wraps things up here for the home media review on Iron Man 2. It's always nice to go back and revisit some of these early Marvel Studios productions and see the baby steps that they were just trying to navigate through. So you already know what's coming next week, folks. We cap off the Iron Man trilogy with Iron Man 3. Not to spoil my thoughts on this, but Iron Man 3 is the movie that made me fall in love with cinema. We'll talk about that more next week. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all then. Good night, everybody.